what
It will
what
cease to exist. Cool. All right. Anyway, no more talking about that. All right. So I'm gonna give you a list. Okay. And you can say keep. You gotta keep one and not the other one. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So first one's gonna be recovery gear.
Keep.
Okay. Uh, lift kit.
Mm,
Which one do you keep the recovery gear or keep the lift kit?
keep the recovery gear.
Probably a good choice. All right. What's the next one here? Lighting, light bars.
Keep the recovery kit.
Yeah, I think this is gonna go all the way through. Okay, hold on. Navigation app.
Oh, so app like I can have like a compass or like a map
So
or like
like an
no
Onyx or like
navigation at all.
n- uh this is getting no, we can't get into semantics here. Recovery gear, navigation app.
Oof. I'd be lost without a navigation app. I'm going navigation app. Offline
Okay,
maps,
good
yeah.
answer. Yeah, good answer. Dual battery system.
Navigation.
You know, cooking equipment.
mm, navigation. Freeze dried
Oh,
meals.
yeah. Skip plates.
Oh, man. I guess it depends on the it depends on the terrain, I guess. But I've done a lot
You
without
gotta
skid
pick one.
plates. I'll do
Yeah,
navigation.
yeah. All right, navigation. All right, so last one. Four-wheel drive.
What is it?
Four-wheel drive.
Oh, we need four-wheel drive. Yeah, we we need four-wheel drive. We can't go two-wheel drive.
Hey, paper map it is. All right,
Yeah.
that was fun. Um, so the all right, so I'm gonna give you another one here before we get to the Facebook Marketplace thing. So, do you have a hot take on stuff within Overland? Something that people like that you don't like, or something that you like that people don't like? Be anything, type of car, thing that you do, place, thing that people do.
The there's a few people. I mean, we've kind of
Hmm.
touched on this already, but there's a few people who
Hmm.
are local to Florida who
Hmm.
have an overabundance of gear that never gets used, and it really ticks me off. But that's really the only thing, I guess.
You're like I don't know if you've seen the sticker that I have that says like the anti Overland Club.
No, I haven't seen that, but I like that.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I would agree with you. Um, I think mine is.
One, I guess. Wait, one other thing, and I see this on some Facebook groups a lot, is
Mm,
people going off trail and just like being dumb. Like that makes me upset.
I wouldn't say that's a hot take. I think it's a pretty reasonable take.
Yeah, it is pretty reasonable, but
Um, yeah,
for
I
some,
think the over accessorizing is very common and it is unreasonable.
yeah, definitely.
What are you gonna say?
No, yeah, I agree. I agree. But going
Yeah.
off the trail, that's
So
that's pretty reasonable. But I don't know if people are just uneducated or they don't realize, what they're doing. But
I think that it's a couple of things. Um, One is that there's a big learning curve in how to drive in Florida terrain, um, that people don't realize. And there's also like a huge steep drop off in how how stuck you can get, like
right,
from right here to right here.
right,
And a lot of times people don't even realize. like, hey, that is an actual swamp that will just suction your car, right? Create a vacuum under the
Literally.
frame of your car,
Literally, yep.
and you'll need a. Did you see the Tundra that needed a backhoe
I did
to
not,
chain them?
but
Like
I
they
can
have to.
imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, it was out west by you. Like they had to grab a backhoe, like a big thing on treads, and like lift the truck up like this, and then put it down again because they had just gotten completely suctioned because of the rain. It was a bunch of soft sand, soft kind of silty mud, and then the truck just sank
Yep.
into it. So I think part of it is that like people are uninitiated in how to read the terrain in South Florida, and really, look, it's easy, right? Like if you see little tiny pieces of grass growing on it, don't go in there.
Yeah. If
Don't go
the
in there.
if
That's
the the
there's
soil is like dark black and you see a little bit of
yeah,
grass coming out of it, do not go in
yeah,
there.
yeah. Those cattails will swallow the car, right? Just like the easiest thing is like if you see roots, if you see the roots, if you see big trees with roots sticking out of the soil, that's pretty solid because the tree has to hold on to something,
Right.
right? So even that, just like people being unaware of that and being like, oh, this dirt trail that I'm driving on is boring. I have a Jeep. This thing is a bad, awesome off-road truck. I'm gonna go into that mud and then right. So I think it's part of it is that, and for sure part of it is ignorant and like ignorance. Like I think that you can't. There's a certain type of person that you'll never convince to not throw their cigarette butts on the
Right.
floor.
Right.
Um, which I mean, you shouldn't be smoking cigarettes, period. But like, there's certain people you'll never convince to not do that. Just like
Right.
I think there's certain people you'll never convince, like, hey, the road is here, don't go there.
Right.
But I think most people want to follow the rules
Yeah.
as long as the rules are reasonable.
Well,
Now,
and I think
we're
it's
gonna say,
maybe they're not completely aware of the rules, you know. Like they're
yeah,
just going out there, they don't realize, "Oh, like I can just drive anywhere I want out here." No, not
yeah,
necessarily, but if you knew that you weren't supposed to do that, you know, or you don't, take your time and read the sign when you go in and, you know,
yeah. And there's a kind of a duality in that because I've thought about doing, and I think I've mentioned it too. Like I've thought about doing like a kind of state of the trail series for different properties in public land properties in South Florida. The thing is that what I hesitate what makes me hesitate in doing that is that you don't want to take the adventure out of it too much,
right,
right?
right,
Like I don't know if so when I was a kid, and I know there's an age difference, so it might not have been the same thing when you were growing up, but like when I was a kid, you would buy like if you had a video game, right next to the video game at the video game store was the strategy guide for that video
right,
game,
right.
right?
The guidebook,
And you
yeah,
could buy
I
it and
remember those,
the
yeah,
guidebook, yeah.
yeah,
So that kind of took the marvel out of the
right,
game. And if
right.
you had like a really hard section, you would use it,
They
but it's the
call it
same
like
thing,
yellow paint now, where they're holding your hand, through it.
right?
Yeah.
Right. And so
They don't
then it
believe you're
becomes a
smart
question
enough
of like,
to figure it out yourself.
right. So then I guess exactly. So like, how much hand holding is the appropriate amount relative to how much people going off trail is going to be reduced, right? I
Right.
think that's the question,
Right.
or that's the two things that have to be contended with each other. I can tell you, and like I have a lot of respect for the rangers that work at the state properties and the national forest up in Ocala and the federal preserve here in Big Cypress. I know the feds have a much harder time because it's a lot more land for a lot less officers, but I don't think they do the best job generally in building a good relationship with recreational off-roaders. Um, and it's kind of like the whole like the state troopers that host like drag strip nights. Like if you give people an outlet to do things, I think that you can not only build trust, but you can reduce the chances of people being stupid and being
Yeah.
reckless.
And I think that
Um,
that goes exactly back to what we were talking about before with the Florida Adventure Trail and kind of
yeah,
capitalizing on that idea.
yeah, absolutely. Like I know the guys at Picayune, like I don't remember Ranger Weston, I think is the last name. he's always been great to me. Like when we organize events at Picayune, I always email him ahead of time, and we've done cleanups and we've done like community days with him, where like they've taken us on stuff, and like we've had them help us clean up and stuff. It's like they're great, but not every single set of rangers across the state is like that.
Right.
And I can't tell you why. I can only tell you what I've experienced, and they've been the friendliest. They did fill up my bounty hole, which I'm really sad about.
Was it the one
But
in
that,
Picayune?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of them
you know what
that
I'm talking
way.
about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The not the one between the trees, the one that's kind of in on the back end towards where like they're filling up the canals.
Yep. Yep, I know exactly which one
Yeah,
that is. Yeah.
but that one it's gonna get eroded again, and it'll be fun again. But like they know that people are gonna go out there to have fun, and really like. I remember actually one time I did a cleanup, and he had my cell phone, and he was texting me, and he goes, "Hey, your group just come in through not an official entrance." And I go, "No, I wouldn't do that. I have, this is like my name is attached to it. It's like I don't want to be stupid." He's like, "Oh, okay, no, never mind. I thought it was you guys, but if you guys came in through there, you guys are good." So like
Right.
they know that people are going out there to recreate. So again, like if people are gonna do it anyway, why don't we create an environment in which they can do it safely
Right.
and sustainably? Right.
And I don't know if you remember
So,
last
uh,
time, I don't know if it was out there the last time we were out there, but when you go in off of Sable Palm on off 951, they've actually added lots of signage specifically
mm,
across these sections that are on the South Florida Adventure Trail, talking about
mm,
wildlife, the type of
really?
ecosystem and wetland that you're driving through and stuff like that. It's actually really cool. I gotta, if I have any pictures, I know I could throw them up on this video or I'll send some to you. But
Mm.
they've added a bunch of really cool signage to that area.
I didn't know that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
been a little while since I've been out there, but yeah, listen, I mean, I think that I think that there's definitely potential of integrating tech in some useful way. In fact, I don't know if you saw that there's like a one of the things I wanted to talk about is the the Forest Service app is like completely revamped.
Was it like a
Um,
Avenza?
it says new national forests and grasslands off and online resources for forest recreation.
Oh, you know what I
So it's an app.
did want to bring up. You were talking about doing like the state of the trail thing.
Uh,
It's funny. I don't know if you've used Onyx recently, but that's kind of a feature that's built into Onyx. If I go down a trail that is on Onyx, then I can put a trail report on there and I can say, this is closed or this has gotten really bad or this is
okay.
really muddy recently. And then so you can look, if you're thinking about going down a trail, you can just look at the trail on Onyx and it'll say someone was here 2 weeks ago and they said it was
Oh yeah.
this was the conditions of the trail essentially.
No, you're right,
um
because I've seen that. I've seen like
yeah.
recent pictures from this specific spot. Yeah,
Right.
for
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, I mean, okay, so I think that my hot take maybe in November would have been that Onyx is overrated.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's no longer the case. I actually am an Onyx truther now
You
because
switch to the dark side.
it
Yeah.
it's just good. It's just good. So the problem with me is that like when my uncle was doing timed rally events, he was using Gaia. And
Right.
so I learned how to navigate and how to map stuff on Gaia. And John used Gaia for the Florida Adventure Trail.
Right.
So I used Gaia for the trails down here.
Now, and I
And then,
think I think Gaia might have more technical ability, kind of comparable to like a Garmin system or something
yeah,
like that. But Onyx, like we were talking about before, it holds your hands. It's simple, stupid. Literally,
yeah,
you pull up the map. The trails are color coded. You can see them in your area. You can click on them, see what they're like, decide what you want to do beforehand. Crazy simple,
yeah, Onyx is
stupid.
much more interactive. Yeah.
Right. And now I think there's pros and cons to that where one, the trails are getting much more exposure, so they're going to be driven a lot more and people are going to go down
Mhm.
them. And that obviously opens up the possibility of people disrespecting them, throwing trash everywhere, that kind of thing. But I would like to think, and I hope that people who are downloading the app and going to these areas are like-minded. You know, they want to respect the
Yeah,
law.
I think that people who are, throwing their natty lights and cigarette butts out of their car on the trail, or I would be surprised if they're active participants in
Right,
any sort of community that endorses outdoor recreation. They're going to be guys who are unfortunately usually locals, right?
right,
Who go out there and do their thing, right? I wouldn't necessarily find that fun, and I would like to believe that I'm considerate enough to know that it's a shared space. But some people, again, going back to like some people you're never gonna convince to not throw their cigarette butts on the floor, right? So,
yeah,
but I think those people are a small minority, and it's important to have a strong community to show the rangers, who really are the ones that, unfortunately, whether we like it or not, the ones to decide whether or not the trails stay open.
right.
Show them that there's more good people than there are bad people, right?
And I think
Uh,
you may know more about this than me because I haven't necessarily interacted with them or the Forest Service all that much, to be honest.
mm,
Um, but
mm,
in my point of view, it kind of comes down to how much workforce they have available to actually maintain these areas and keep them, you know,
yeah.
gravel, cleaned up, make sure that people aren't going off trail, that kind of thing.
mm. Well, yeah, no, they don't have a ton of people. You think about like I don't remember Picayune, but I know like to give you perspective, like Citrus up in Central Florida has the
Yep,
same number of rangers as all of Ocala National Forest.
that's crazy.
So I know, and I don't remember it was like 30 or 60. There, it's a decent number, but like even if you put every hour of every person of 30 people, you put 40 hours of 30 people, right? 1,200 hours, like that's not a lot of hours to like fill in a miles of rutted roads, right?
Right,
And the thing going back to what we were saying about recreation is that unfortunately, at least the way that we do it in Florida through FWC and the rangers and the state properties is that we um, the state wants roads to be accessible by essentially a regular car, right?
right.
And so obviously that's
Which
not as
makes
fun.
sense.
That's not as
You
fun as
don't,
out west,
right. You don't want to get the
right? But
family of four out there, calling the ranger station saying that, they need to be pulled out of the mud or
they're
whatever if
stuck.
something happened. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, and there's probably a way to um, self-select people, like for
Right,
example in Big Cypress, where you have
right,
to get the permit.
right,
Um, and may the powers greater than ours eventually open up the secondary trails in Big Cypress, um, which there was a decision at the end of the year last year, but
I
nothing's come
saw
of it
that.
again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that dude. Like I was in college when that stuff started. I remember like I got the no, I think I was already done with school. It was like 2017 when the last time the secondary trails were open, and man, they were a lot of fun. Like basically like Picayune when it's like in bad shape, like
Right,
pretty rutted out.
right,
That's how it was. And now it's not that it's not fun, but it's like there's like a couple of obstacles within Big Bear Island, but there isn't like it's not a place that I would say like, hey, let's go do this specific trail
right.
in Bear Island, right? Not
What I
anymore.
wish we could do is somehow open up Jane Scenic Drive all the way from Fakahatchee to Picayune because I know there's a road
So I
there.
think
It connects, and the gate is
mm,
closed in Picayune and in Fakahatchee Strand. But
mm.
that would be so cool to drive all the way from Collier Boulevard out to basically the Everglades, all off road. That would be really cool.
Well, you can do once upon a time when Jane Scenic was open, you could go in through Picayune on the west coast, go all the way through down Scenic, and then you would just hop across 27
Yep.
and then go on to Turner River
Yep.
and then keep going and then get on Loop Road
Rep.
off of
Right.
Turner River and get another like 17 or 20 something miles east. So you would do basically not three quarters, like two-thirds of the state on dirt.
Right. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, over the
Yeah, and
years
that's
it's been abused and that's probably why they shut it down. Or That's a pretty long
Yeah.
stretch of dirt road. I don't think they could have maintained it with, the amount of people they had. I'm not entirely sure, but
So the main explanation that I've been given is that it's a strategy to reduce poaching because you
gotcha.
have set points for check in, check out during hunting season, right?
Right,
However, even there is a solution that allows recreational off-roaders. So you can say during hunting season the gate is closed,
right,
the rest of the year the gate is open,
right,
right? So you could do that. And honestly, I mean, I'm getting way ahead of myself here, but it's a matter of advocacy. If 200 people show up to a town hall to discuss this, and you state your opinion, which is a hey, we respect hunting season,
right,
but hunting season is only part of the year, and other people want to use the land, and we're willing to also fund things. Why not, right?
right.
So
Yeah,
why not? Why not, right? And that's something that can be discussed and organized, but it's not that it's impossible. It's just like there isn't uh, a concentrated effort pointing in a specific direction.
right.
Yeah. All right. So my hot take. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
And we're both guilty of this. So people should not be off-roading hard with the bank's car,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it's like a very grandpa take. I understand. I'm a grandpa. I'm wearing a J. Cole crew neck sweater. I understand that. Uh, crew neck sweater, not J. Cole. J. Cole's a rapper. But you're gonna break the bank's car,
right.
right? The bank's
Yeah,
gonna be mad.
yeah,
So listen, I'm super guilty of it. And every time that I go on a trip with the Ranger, I go, man, like, why do I have that stupid old Land Rover if it's not for this,
right,
right? So that's actually why I bought it because like I can't I want to like what always ended up happening to me was like I wanted to do harder stuff, harder trails, and then I would say, all right, hold on, if I do the hard trail with this thing, I'm gonna break it,
right.
and now I break something that I got a loan on and so on. So and I understand that most of the time people's daily driver is the thing that they're going to go out and use recreationally. But if you're the type of person who likes to do hard trails, likes to have technical driving challenges, get something, get a beater, right? Get a
Yeah,
beater, get an old.
yeah,
I mean, I was going to say a cheap Jeep Cherokee, but those don't exist anymore. Um, or like a third gen Forerunner. If you're a masochist like myself, get yourself a Land Rover. Get something that you can just abuse and leave there somewhere, your parents' driveway, your driveway, your girlfriend's driveway, whatever, full of mud, and just forget about it until you use it again, right? Like
yeah,
if that's the part that you enjoy more than the vehicle-based independent adventure travel, get yourself something for that, right? The more you make a vehicle off-road capable, the less useful it's going to be to drive on the highway, and
right.
that's the majority of your trip. For any overland adventure, the majority of it is going to be on the highway.
100% agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
So,
I find myself, when I'm taking the Colorado out, once in a while I'll hit something super technical, but I always
mm,
keep that in the back of my mind that, this is technically it's not my daily driver because I have a work truck, but either way,
mm,
either way, same thing like what you just said. I don't push it too hard. I know that,
yeah. No,
I
you
don't
you
I don't want
can't.
to
You
break the
can't.
thing. Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
when I do think about hitting something, super technical, like I would never go out there and sink my truck. That's why I don't go out in the mud anymore in Picayune or anything like that, or out in Big Cypress,
Mm,
because it's like there's just no point. One, the cleanup is too much, but two, if I'm really gonna do it and like send it, I need like an old Cherokee on 40s or 37s or something like
yes.
that, and then I'm gonna do it. But now, eh,
Yeah. You're never gonna get that mud out of the truck
no,
completely, and that
no,
mud has salt in it, and it's gonna eat your car
yeah.
up.
The lime rock
Yeah.
too is one thing.
Yeah. All right. So we'll leave. Taking some things out here. So let's do some Facebook stuff. All right. So I have a few saved. You want to go first? Did you save anything?
I did not.
Okay. So uh I'm gonna do, let me see here. Oh, okay, that's right. It's funny that we were talking about a Cherokee, Jeep Cherokee. So here we go. How do I share this thing? Here we go. Copy a link. Let me put it here for you in the chat. All right. So I actually found a running, driving $2,000 Jeep XJ. If you want to pull it up there on your screen,
Yep.
it's actually decent looking. I mean, from far, you know what they say, far from good, good from
Right.
far. It doesn't look like it's rusted, like most of these are. They tend to die on the rain gutter ends on the back.
Right.
This one looks decent, dude. I mean, and honestly, it's already. I mean, it's got some sort of crappy little steel bumper, snorkel, some tires on. Again, like this would be like, how bad is death wobble on this thing right now? Right, that's the
Right.
question.
Right. But I mean,
um,
hey, if you're out in Picayune going 15 miles an hour, 10 miles an
doesn't matter.
hour,
Yeah,
right, and you
yeah,
pull it on a trailer or something like that,
yeah.
or I live
No,
15
this
minutes
thing
away from
is,
Picayune, but
yeah, this thing is.
that is
It's got
pretty
decent
mint.
tires. It's got
Yeah.
KO2s. Yeah, I do like the. Did you notice the spiky
Yeah.
lug nuts?
Yeah. I'm looking at them right now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Like this is a
Yeah, dude,
perfect car to
man,
take out there and just, you could really send
beat
it
'em.
on. Yeah.
Yep, just like that. Don't even. People are like, oh, I'm gonna put an 8.8 in the back and I'm done.
Yeah.
Just let them blow. Just let them
Yep.
blow up. Go to the junkyard, get another Dana 30 for 250 bucks.
Yep.
Just, just don't
Even
touch it.
another
Put a
motor or
winch on
chains
it.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just blow it up. Just let it blow up. Put a Badlands $500 winch in there.
Yeah.
Abuse
And I
it.
think
Just
also
yeah.
having, I know this kind of ties back into the conversation we were just having, but obviously the term like mechanical sympathy comes up a lot.
Mhm.
If you're driving a vehicle that's financed or whatever, this is something you could have a little bit less mechanical sympathy on. But if you have a project car, you could also have the chance to learn a lot about working on your own vehicles, you know, modifications, stuff like that, you know, being able to fix this thing if it's broken down on wherever.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think if you're gonna get into technical driving, whether it's for off-roading or overlanding, and all, I think there's a couple of things you have to accept. You have to either be willing, have the space and the time to learn how to work on a car, or you have to be willing to find a mechanic that you can trust
Right.
that that you're gonna have to pay a lot of money to,
Right.
right? Um, so if you are in a situation where like you can only have one car, you don't have a garage, right? You have like a parking spot in a complex. Uh, Maybe not the best scenario
Right.
for overland travel with complicated technical trails. I'm not discouraging someone from doing it. I'm just saying be aware of the limitations, right? Be
Right.
understand what the ingredients are to your specific recipe. Um, my front driveway is huge. Like we have the shop, we have a bay. Like I can make a mess and it doesn't really matter, right?
Right.
But not every, and that's a huge blessing in and of itself. But
Yeah,
um,
before like
not everybody's
that
gonna.
goes back to, before you buy all the gear and stuff like that, at least know how to, work on your vehicle. That should probably that and recovery gear and like a good set of tires is probably, the best assets you can have. Knowledge on how to fix your vehicle, the
Yeah,
tools to do it, that kind of stuff.
yeah. So yeah, first and foremost, like your car should be in good shape, mechanic, right?
Right.
One,
Right.
two, you should understand what are the things specifically to that model that are recurring issues. For example, like the Armada that we have, the thing is a tank, but the brake switch goes bad on them all the time. It actually happened to us on Wednesday, and the car will just not start.
Right.
Right, so it's a $25 part, and all I did was just throw one in the glove box. And so when it inevitably happens, you just spend 5 minutes unplugging it and plugging a new one in, right? And that's a particular recurring issue for that vehicle. But you need to do your due diligence and figure out, okay, like what are the known issues of my car? How do I accommodate for them, right? Is my specific unit in serviceable shape, right? Like, is the cooling system good? Is the gearbox good? Does the four-wheel drive work? Does my whatever navigation app I have in the dash or on my phone, does that work? Is the
Shakedown
battery good,
runs.
right? Make the
Yeah.
vehicle exactly, make the vehicle reliable, one, right? I would say even before a good set of tires, like have a spare tire changing set, and know how to change a tire,
Right.
right? So that, and we take that for granted, but that's a component of it, right?
Yeah.
So
I
that I
recently
would say
just
is the
got
next
a
thing.
full size spare just for that reason
I
because
know
I've never had a
you're
full.
being a bad boy, naughty naughty. So yeah, so that's another one, right? Does it fit in the bottom?
No, I have it on a tire carrier on the hitch.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah,
It
it
doesn't
doesn't fit in
fit
the
in
bottom.
the no.
No, no way. The Armada again, like the thing is a tank. The 35 fits under the in the stock wheel well location with no
Right.
problem. Um, so that's usually my cutoff. Like my cutoff for like how big of a tire I tend to recommend on a vehicle is like what fits the spare tire location. Because if you don't, then you have to figure out some sort of alternate mounting thing, and that's always a compromise. I remember with my silver Xterra, Gen 1 Xterra, I was so excited about getting a spare tire carrier because, like, finally, my trunk will not have a 35-inch tire in the
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
And then every time I did groceries, I would have to unlatch, pull the pin, drag this big, heavy arm out, do the thing, and then do all of it again. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is not as fun as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know.
I'm assuming you're experiencing some version of that.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I don't drive that truck too much. I typically use the work
Hmm,
truck, but when I do,
hmm,
yeah, the biggest thing I've noticed with it is the backup camera is now obviously it's like
useless.
unusable. So, and
Right.
also backing into a spot, I always back into spots. So now it hangs.
Hmm,
If I'm in a congested parking lot in the middle of Naples in season, then it's, you know,
right.
the spare tire hangs out quite a bit. But
Right.
I could always just drive
Yeah,
in the
dude, and
back of the
that's
truck, but you know,
you gotta do one of those cool like side of the bed mounts, like
yeah, so I can
one of
sideswipe
those.
people. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Instead of the old Power Wagon had it like outside of the fender, just put it on the inside of the fender, and you're good.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I would say like have a vehicle that's in serviceable shape, have a spare tire, a way to change it, and the knowledge to change it. Have a navigation app, a fire extinguisher, and a cell phone charger. You'll be surprised the number of posts on stuck in Florida SOS that somebody posts something and goes, "Guys, please help! My phone is at 4%."
that's
So
terrible.
first of all, what kind of psychopath leaves their house with their phone at
Yeah.
like 25%?
Do you not have a charger
What
in
are you
your
doing with your life?
car? Yeah,
Right. It's like, but again, I take it for granted because like it's a thing. I mean, I work off my phone, so I need it to be
right,
charged at all times. But yeah, you'll be surprised the number of posts in that with that specific sequence. Um, so you have all of those things covered. Go and find a group of guys, a club or something that knows what they're doing, has a good reputation. Hang out with them, right? Be the new guy with them for a little bit. Figure out, okay, my street tires actually do have no use in this type of terrain, or they get a lot of punctures or whatever. Then spend your money in whatever you need, right? Like if you have decent tires on your car already, don't just get bigger tires for the sake of getting bigger tires, right? If you have a car that has ground clearance issues or has a very low hanging front bumper, like you got to attack whatever's actually limiting you in your ability to use the vehicle.
right.
Without even getting into the overland gear itself, right? That's a whole nother topic of discussion. All right, so Cherokee, very nice. All right, I'm gonna show you this one. This one's a funny story. I can't believe it's for sale because I actually know this person. Um, and I either bought, and I don't remember if I bought or sold something to him. So one or the other. Let me see here. All right. So, so let me know when you can see it.
I'm pulling it up now. Yeah, this
Hmm.
Xterra.
Yeah. So it's a base Xterra with looks like 33s.
Yeah,
Um,
it
and
looks
like
like it's got. I don't know if
nothing
those are
about
20
it.
inch rims, but
Those are like Armada rims or something. So it looks decent. I mean, it's got like a pretty expensive roof rack. It's got a front runner rack. It's
It's
got
got
an
an
ARB
ARB diff
bumper.
cover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's got a
Oh
diff
wow,
cover by
the
ARB.
yeah, the pull-out kitchen and the fridge. It's a
Yeah,
thousand
so he's got
bucks
a
right there.
bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dual battery setup looks like.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Is this the? Oh no, this is actually an off-road trim. It has the factory diff lock. So I'm partial to these because I've actually owned more than one. My
Yeah,
buddy actually bought
he's
the
got the
second
list
one.
here. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Titan
255
swapped in the
70
front.
18s.
Yeah.
Titan swap with the diff?
Yeah.
No,
uh,
see, this is the R180, so no half ton diff.
Nissan Titan lower control arm, Nissan Titan inner and outer
Yeah,
tie rods,
yeah,
QX80 OEM CV axles, Nistec
yeah. So what they
extended
do with
brake
those,
lines.
so what they do with those is like for example, my Armada, the one that I have, the QX80, they actually have the smaller Xterra Frontier diff with longer CVs. And there was only one version of because like the chassis on the Armada, the Titan, the Xterra, and the Frontier, and the Pathfinder is all the same. Even the engine mounts are the same for the VQ56 and the VQ4 or VK56 and the VQ40. Um, what is different is like the angle of the shock tower and then the length of the control arms. So when people Titan swap it, they put the Titan control arms on it and it widens the width. Way back in the day when I was doing that stuff, you needed to buy like custom CV axles and
Right,
assemble them yourself if you were keeping the diff. The thing that you would do is buy the diff and the CVs off of a Titan, but
right,
it needed to match the gears, and that was like a whole thing because back then no one was making Nissan gears and blah blah blah. So when I have the Xterra that my buddy drives now, that I built or eventually sold to him, I actually did the opposite. I installed the Titan half ton diff, but I kept the factory width. So it was like a because all of the trails down here are super narrow as is.
right.
Um, so I did Pathfinder V8 CV axles with an M205 in the front. So I did the opposite of this guy. Well, actually, this is kind of a sweet deal. I mean, I don't know about 15 grand.
Yeah,
Um, Especially like if it had the half ton diff, like if it had the big diff in the front, maybe.
yeah. I'd
Um,
say reasonably
and
like 7,500.
yeah, somewhere around, I would say exactly like 10 grand would be the ceiling, dependent on, the condition of the frame and the gearbox
Right.
and the actual, I mean, it looks pretty solid. He's got some nice IMS Dobinsons on here.
Yeah, the shocks are
Uh,
nice. They look brand new too.
yeah. So this guy, now I'm remembering now I'm looking at it. So he has I think this is a Pro 4 by, yeah, so this is the own, yeah, the 2010. So this is the refresh design. This truck, he had the factory skid plates, which the base model, which I had, didn't have the gas skid plate, and it was like way too expensive to buy like a nice one. And I just, Facebook Marketplace find, I saw that he was selling the the whole factory set of skid plates, and I bought it all of them off of him for maybe like $100 or $200 or something like that.
Yeah,
And then what I did is I just doubled up the factory skid plates. I just put two together,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I installed the I installed the gas tank one. So I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. Just by the truck. Yeah, it's him. Not gonna show the name, but it's him. Um, yeah, yeah. 15 grand's a little steep. I mean, it's funny because I don't know if you saw the slash, right? Did you see the previous price?
I did not.
30 grand.
Yeah, it doesn't show it
Yeah, 30 grand.
on
Yeah,
here.
30 grand. You are smoking
Yeah,
some good
I
stuff.
could buy a brand new vehicle for that.
Exactly, exactly. Or like something modern.
Yeah,
And the Xterra came out 2005. They didn't really refresh it at all. All right, last one of these. Let's do this one. This one is also not worth this. These are like, are you okay, bro? Prices. All right, let me see here. This is actually one of my favorite cars, period. And they are basically impossible to find. Yeah.
Now this might actually be worth
Well,
maybe a
somebody will
little
buy
bit
it at that
less.
price just
Yeah,
because it's not. Yeah, somebody will buy it around 10 just because it's not rusted out.
right.
No, but this, so in my opinion, this is actually
A
one of the
22G
highest.
RE.
Yeah, yeah, that little four cylinder. It's a stick. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, it's a stick because it has that ugly
I wonder if it's got a
third
two-speed
world like.
transfer case for any diff locks.
It'll have low range. It won't have a diff lock, but it has like buying a diff lock for a Toyota eight
Yeah, it's
inches
like
so
nothing.
cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you saw what it has. It has a factory inclinometer.
I did not. I really like the hatch,
Yeah.
like the hatch on this.
Oh, dude, like to me, this like if you want to put a camper on something, put a camper on a first gen Forerunner.
Yeah.
You might have to
Dude, I would
3.4
just gut
swap
the
it. You might,
back out of that and put a mattress in the inside of it.
yeah, yeah. No, that's the dream.
Yeah.
That's the dream machine, baby. No, I love these trucks. Like when I was buying my first car when I was in high school, my dad and I were gonna drive. I think it was to like Jacksonville to look at one of these, and like we never went and we never bought it. I remember it was like 5 grand. It was a red one on like 31s. It was perfect. Uh, but never went to go see it. And now they're super rare. I mean,
Yeah.
this one is in good shape compared to the stuff that I've seen. Um, but like you said, like this is basically a factory long bed pickup with a
Right.
fiberglass top on it.
Right.
Yeah, no, this is. I mean, I'm not gonna spend. I'm not gonna drop 10 grand or 12 grand on one of these, but I love these trucks.
This is a good find.
Yeah, you need to find someone that's like getting divorced and selling one of
Yeah,
these.
an estate sale
Yeah,
or
this.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you need to do. All right, let me see here. What else we got? All right, anything fun or anything like that that you've seen or anything you want to recommend, off-road or overland related
Well,
video or something?
I mean, obviously we're on Facebook Marketplace right now. I'm just gonna pull up my
Huh?
Instagram here. Um, obviously the majority of the stuff on my truck, the only new things I'm
Yes.
putting on my truck are wheels and tires and suspension, dual
Uh,
battery system, and some camping gear. Everything else I've gotten off Facebook Marketplace. My tent, the smart cap I wanted to give away, I would not have purchased that brand new. I'm too poor for
dude,
that.
you're like the
But
luckiest person when it
dude,
comes to giveaways, man.
I don't get it. I don't get it. But awning Facebook Marketplace, Ice Cove Fridge Facebook Marketplace, tent Facebook Marketplace, you know, scour Facebook Marketplace, because what happens a lot is someone will get into the hobby, spend a bunch of money. 2 years later, it sits in the garage. They don't want it anymore. It's still in good shape. So I I'm looking like every day. Like it'll take me a month, but when I find that one good listing, I'm like, this is it. You know,
Facebook Marketplace degenerate.
you can't get me off of it, man. You can ask my fiance. I'm always on Facebook
Just kind of like,
Marketplace.
bro, it's
Yeah,
like
seriously,
save.
yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Um, I do remember. I remember you made me remember another hot take that I had, and it's kind of going away. And I have a friend who owns a company that makes these, so I'm not gonna tread lightly, but I'm just gonna say like I'm being. I know that he's gonna disagree because he sells these things. I think for like 98% of people, particularly in Florida, because a lot of our trailers are single track, unless you're going to Ocala, a trailer
Oh
is
yeah,
such a bad idea.
yeah.
It's a bad idea, and the smaller the trailer, the worse the idea.
You know, I know who you're talking about, but I I thought that as well, but
Uh,
I think for the right person it makes sense. I think for us it would make zero
yes,
sense. But I think if you're
yes,
someone who wants to do some light off-roading, if you're up in doing some Forest Service roads in Appalachia, the Georgia Traverse, whatever, you could perfectly drive a trailer down all those roads. And if you want to base camp, whatever, you're an older gentleman, maybe you're older
yeah,
and you just want the convenience of just getting in the trailer, not having to climb on top of your vehicle or set up a tent or
mm,
whatever, then it makes sense. But if you're like us and you're light on your feet, moving constantly, doing harder stuff, whatever it is, I think it makes zero sense. And Also, the price is a little crazy. I think the price for some of
Yeah.
these is a little insane, but I would never buy one brand new unless I won the lottery. Then you guys would
No.
see me with a
Well,
trailer in the back.
that's a Facebook Marketplace. Like, fine,
Right,
you can find them so cheap. People are selling them basically brand new. 'Cause the people don't realize, like, if you have I have a big driveway. Like, if I put a trailer, it's basically taking up 40% of my driveway
right,
at any point, right? And I have to like maneuver my cars around it some way or the other. Also, trailer super stealable. You just hitch it on and
right,
tow it away, and you have to
right.
put all of these. You gotta start
And
tying it to the
it
ground.
never really made sense to me because someone in my family actually bought like a I think it was like a 30 footer or maybe even a 40-foot trailer.
That's massive.
And then when I'm out on my trips, we'll go by campsites
Mm,
where you have the specific sites that are meant for these longer trailers, and you just
mm.
see them out there with a lawn chair scrolling on their phone, and I'm like, just
Yeah,
you could have been
kind of
at your
defeats the purpose.
house. You could have been at your house. You
Yeah,
literally brought your house out here to do nothing.
yeah.
But I mean,
I know.
I don't know. That doesn't
So
make
I mean,
sense to
look,
me.
man, we might get to that point. We might Life might change,
Seriously,
and
I
I
don't
might,
know.
I've always joked like like the whole thing with like the typical like Corvette owner kind of
Right,
boomer dad.
right,
Like the joke is like Barb's knees are bad. That's why you have to give up the Corvette.
right,
It's the same thing with like a roof tent. It's like if your wife is gonna complain the whole time, first of all, don't take her, right? Like just don't take her.
right, right.
Like just be like, hey, listen, go to a hotel, go to a resort
Yeah,
and
that
get a
that would be a
massage,
way
and I'll
better
go.
option. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably cheaper
yeah.
too in the long run.
Uh, right. So I know someone who's like tried or talked about doing like the Transamerica, so down through Mexico into the rest of Latin America, and he wants to haul like a 22-foot trailer. And he was on the Pan American Trail like Facebook group. And he was like, "Oh, do you guys think it'll be like? You think I can do it if I haul my 22-foot trailer behind my SUV?" And people were like, "Dude, there's roads that are like not one and one, like one this way, one that way. There's roads that's just one." And you're
We'll
like,
have to
"Oh,
rent a helicopter to pick him up off of the trail and move him somewhere else. A Chinook. We'll
right."
get a
And
Chinook to move him.
yeah, and we
To
were,
turn
because
around.
I've done right exactly like it's an 82-point turn, and we were trying to like done some stuff in Brazil and in Peru and stuff when I was a kid with my family. And like we were trying to tell him like, dude, there's some roads that there's some roads in the cities that like your car is not gonna fit. Like forget
Right,
about your trailer. And he's like, oh well, my wife can't go unless we have a bathroom. And everybody was telling him like, just get a hotel. Like
right,
it's not less overlanding if you sleep in a mattress on a wooden frame.
right.
That does not disqualify you from overland.
100%.
Yeah,
100% I agree.
yeah. There's
I think
this
I think it makes sense, but it's
huh?
a very niche market, and I think the people who are buying the trailers, maybe it makes sense for them financially, I don't know, but I think it's very niche. Even more niche than the
Well,
overland
it's
market already is.
yeah, it's like a niche within a niche.
Right.
And for example, like the trailer folks that I know, they're actually focusing more on like uh guys who do like long-term fishing trips, because
Right.
I think that's a better audience for them, right? Like if you're fishing for 6, 7, 8, 10 days in one spot, or up and down a river,
Right.
yeah, take your trailer because you have home base, you have a hot shower, you
Yeah.
have like comfort, which you want after you've been on the water all
Right.
day. I understand that, right?
Or if you're
But
hunting
like,
for a week or two or something
yeah,
like that.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like that makes it much more sustainable.
Right.
Um, than roughing it and doing that. But yeah, look, like there's a book that I read last year. It's called In Search of Shiva, and it's by this woman called Barbara Toy. And Barbara Toy was like this famous British woman who I'm fairly positive the story is that her husband passed away, and she basically said like, I'm not remarrying. I'm just going to travel for the rest of my life. So she was around in the 50s, and she had this little Land Rover Series 2 or Series 3, whatever the ones from that era, with her, and she drove across the entire northern portion of Africa by herself in this Land Rover,
Wow.
and she stayed at like hostels and hotels pretty much the entire trip. You're gonna tell me that woman wasn't on an overland trip?
Right.
She was in a hotel.
Right.
She crossed
Exactly.
friggin' North Africa by herself. You get me? Like, there's a point in the story where she goes, like, she was somewhere. She's like, there was no road. There was only like a oil drum that you could see just barely. You could barely see like an oil drum this big out in the horizon. And basically, by the time you got to that oil drum, you could see the next oil drum. And that was how
Right.
people would navigate through the desert. Like, you gotta tell me that woman wasn't on an overland trip? Come on, just
Right.
what? Because she had sheets, because she had bed sheets.
Right.
You get me? Come on. So it's important to understand like that the point is adventure, right? The point is go on an adventure, not sleep in a tent. Like sleeping in a tent can be part of the adventure, but it's not essential to the adventure. The adventure is essential to the adventure.
Right. 100% agree.
Yeah. So Rex, any Rex for stuff, uh, videos, anything? So any cool overlanding videos?
Hmm. I've always been a really big fan of, I don't know if you know them, Ozark Overland Adventures. Matt and Kara, they were at Save this year. I really like Matt.
I've seen
Um,
their channel.
yeah,
Yeah.
really, really awesome couple. Very serious
Mm.
about the hobby and traveling.
Mm.
Um,
They have a gladiator.
Story till now, yeah. He has a Gladiator. He
Yeah.
recently Hemi swapped it, but then they just bought an RV, an off-road RV to travel full time. But they're like
Mm.
actually serious about it and doing
But
lots of
those are
traveling.
two different people, right? Like Storytel Now and Ozarks
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
are two different
yeah,
people.
yeah. Those are
Okay.
probably
For a second, I thought you
some
were
of
saying the
my
same.
favorite overland creators in the space.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I can't really think of anyone else worth mentioning at the moment, but
Yeah. No,
yeah,
Storytel Now kind of hits the sweet spot of like pretty cinematic without being pretentious,
right, right.
which is, I think, an ideal market for something that is adventure-based storytelling. Um, yeah. I mean, I love the lads, or what would they call themselves? The fellas? No, the blokes. Down. What is it?
Four wheel
Four wheel
drive
drive
hobby
24/7.
24/7. And you
Yeah.
know what? I
I
think I've
just.
told you this before. When I was just a wee
Mm,
lad, when I was just a kid, I
mhm,
would I was like obsessed with monster trucks, obsessed with off-road trucks. And I always knew one
okay.
day that's what I wanted to do or like have something like that.
Okay.
I would religiously watch Four Wheel Drive 24/7. I would go to
That's
class
funny.
and I would go to class and I knew all about all the off-road vehicles. I'm like, guys, you know what a locking diff is? Like I would like nerd out on all that stuff.
That's really funny.
So as soon
Listen,
as I
man.
as soon
Sometimes
as
you
I
just.
had the chance to get an off-road vehicle, I'm like, that's what I'm doing.
Sometimes you got to rhythm with a tism, you know.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah. So I find their stuff very enjoyable. I think they're much more towards like like the way that they do trips is how I grew up doing trips with my uncle and my dad, which was like more off-road oriented and then a component of camping. And because they do go to some pretty amazing places, but really I think their appeal is the obstacles and how
Yeah.
they're driving them,
Four-wheel drive
right?
24/7.
I,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny because I remember like when they kind of blew up was right around the time they brought the Ute Land Cruiser 60 over the United States
Right.
when they
Right.
did Moab.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember, so like when Karen and I got married in, she's gonna get mad because I don't remember right off the bat, but in 2019,
Come on, man.
uh, uh, in 2019 we went to Australia, and I remember like I was at a random gas station or whatever they call it, a service station, um, and I remember just going up to like the magazine stand and seeing a magazine called Four Wheel Drive 24/7.
Yeah.
So I picked it up, and like it was like rigid, and so I open it, and it's a DVD.
Right.
So
Yeah.
back in the day before YouTube, they
Yeah.
would sell
The
the
DVDs. Yeah.
magazine with a DVD. I remember I got it for my dad, and like I had no idea who these guys were. YouTube was like a thing, but it wasn't like YouTube in 2019 wasn't yet like a place that people went for their entertainment. It was like,
Right.
a place where you would watch like a remix of the He-Man singing video, right? Like
Right.
that's what you would watch, right, He-Man singing Four Non Blondes, it was what you would watch on YouTube. Like streaming wasn't really a thing yet, as it is now, just part of people's everyday life. And so I remember getting him the thing, and then like I remember one time, maybe for recently, like a couple years ago, I kept getting their videos suggested. I was like, wait a second. And like I asked him, I was like, hey, do you have that magazine that I got you when I went to Australia? He's like, yeah, it's like in the pile of random car magazines. And I opened it and I was like, same guys. So
Yeah.
they've been at it for years, and I think it's also important with them to realize um, those guys live off of this.
Right.
And if they break their car, they put it on a trailer and they take it home and they just get in the next car and they do the next thing, right?
Right.
So people that watch that, just be mindful.
Yeah.
Um, so if I were to recommend something, I was actually checking to see if it had been fully released. It's not, still in the demo stages. It's a video game available on Steam. You might have heard of it. It's called Over the Hill.
Yep. Yep.
So Over
Yeah, I
the
think it's in
Hill
early
is
access right
essentially,
now, or it might not be, but
is it?
yeah.
I checked last I checked it had a demo.
Gotcha.
Um, but basically for me and where I am in life right now, that is like just stick it right in my arm because it's like I love like the aesthetic of it and I love that it's like an overland adventure off-roady game, but it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
Like I don't know if you played Mud Runner or Snow Runner or any
Yep.
of those things.
Yep.
At a certain point, it's like, oh man, I'm late for my shift at the sawmill. I have to move logs. Like, why am I moving logs? Like, I don't
Yeah.
care about moving logs. I just want to
Yeah.
drive a truck
Yep.
through the mud until I get stuck and then grab the winch and hook it up. So that was my main beef with Snow Runner and Mud Runner. Also, I made it difficult on myself because I would put like the hardest settings. I was like, no one can recover me. I'm like,
Right.
if I run out of money, I'm game over. And
Right.
so obviously that doesn't help. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Over the Hill. And it's one of those things that like it's never gonna substitute actually going out and doing stuff, but it kind of keeps the mind on the
Activity.
rhythm.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
yeah, kind of. So that's what I'm gonna recommend for people to take a look at.
Yeah, there's actually another really cool game coming out by an indie developer. It's called 4x4 in a bookstore. And you're in a bookstore, but you're in a tiny little four-wheel drive and you have all the
Like an
mechanic
RC car.
yeah, and you have all the mechanics that, got front and rear diff locks, high and low
Mhm.
range, and like it's super technical. It's more focused on like the actual like technical like crawling aspect of off-roading. Um but that's not out yet, but it is going to be really cool when it comes out.
I'm looking at, yeah,
Yeah.
4x4 in a furniture store.
In a furniture store, that's what it is, yeah.
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 Now I'm gonna look at this. This looks
Yeah.
really fun.
And all the
So
tire
you,
physics are simulated and everything like that.
yeah, it looks. I'm gonna take a look at it now when we're done talking. But there's a game that it was an old game when I was a kid, so it's considered ancient history at this point. But there was a game back in the day. This was like the off-road sim game back in the day, and it's crappy. Um, it was called Screamer 4x4. Have you ever heard of it?
I have not, no.
So Screamer 4x4 was a game that was the first game that had like a realistic physics engine, but the thing that held it back was that the textures of the terrain were like super limited.
Yeah.
So it had like different colors and there was like water puddles, but it was the physics was super limited. But it had like very realistic physics for the car, and it had um. And the other thing that was like you couldn't really modify it all that much. You can like lift the truck a little bit, and you could put like mud tires and a bigger engine and diff lux. That's basically the most you could modify it. But it was like, dude, it was intense. I remember there was like some like ridiculous challenges, but that was like the first game, and it's kind of like how there's like the whole concept like at a certain point, like your brain as a kid comes online, and like whatever your brain thinks is cool at that age is just like your personality for the rest of your life.
Right. Yeah.
That game
Yeah.
was what I was playing when I was 13.
Hell yeah, man.
So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah, for
That's
me when I
cool.
was younger, it was off-road Mud Runner, and then there was another game called Off-Road Drive, But like how they
Oh
have like
yeah,
the
of
yeah
course.
yeah they have the off-road events
Yeah,
in
no,
like Malaysia and like Central Asia and stuff like that,
yeah, the
where they
trials.
have the crazy mechanically driven winches and stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
that was in that game. That was super cool. I like that.
yeah,
But
yeah. The little buggies, basically, like the two
yeah,
buggies made out of like samurais and stuff. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
with the big
yeah,
diesels in
yeah.
them.
No, that stuff is
Yeah,
fun, man. It's so that it's interesting because that culture never caught on here in the United States. At like a grassroots level, like we have big events, right? Like we have the
well, we have like
all the
the
desert racing stuff.
the swamp buggy races too, which is like you know
That's very localized. Yeah,
yeah,
it's very localized. And I get it. It's like there's a lot of liability. Um, but like in Europe, in England, like it's all on private property. But like they'll do like trial events where like your car, like the car, you have to drive it there with registration and tag.
right.
Actually, you know who did it recently? Let me look it up. I'm almost certain it was at Gulch's in South Carolina. Everyday man. Okay. I'm pretty sure it was at Gulch's. Um, there was it was a Gulch. It was either somewhere in the Carolinas. They did an event that was basically like um 37s and under, 35s and under, or something like that. And then it was like through Gulches, but through a series of cones. And it was Daily Driver Showdown. That's what it was called. Daily Driver Showdown. I'll send you the link. Um, so this stuff is like what I think is basically the autocross equivalent for off-road. Because you basically have to have a street legal car, right? So for example, Terra Trophy, which I think is going to blow up.
Hey everyone, I'm
Um,
Larry. Welcome to the channel.
and it's the guys from Rome Forlo that started it. I think his name is
Gotcha.
Brian, the guy with the Frontier.
Yep.
Him and his wife have the shop in Northwest Georgia. They're awesome. They're one of the big sponsors. They've been big sponsors of Safe.
Right.
Um, so they started the Terra Trophy, and then they got the sponsorship I think from Maxxis tires. That stuff is going to blow up. The problem with those types of events is that you can have a street legal car. Like I don't know if they have a street legal requirement, but technically your car arrives on a trailer and it has a tag on it. It's street legal,
Right.
right? So that, like you're saying, like the mechanical sympathy you have for a car on a trailer, even if it's technically street legal, is not the same,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So it becomes a battle
That because
of
that's a
pockets instead
purpose
of a
built vehicle. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It becomes a battle of pockets as opposed to a battle of mechanical competence and driving skill, which is really what all of these things should be.
Right.
So like, and like for example, the Terra Trophy, I think is an awesome event. I really hope it grows because I think we need more things like that, more
Yeah. You know what?
grassroots
I
off-road
watched
events.
that Terra Trophy video. It was like that was really cool. I really liked that.
Hmm. The issue is that and I remember I was talking to him in one of the comments on Instagram. I said it was a joke, but there was some merit to it, which is like the small tire class should not be 37s and under.
Yeah. I agree.
Small tire 33,
Yeah. I agree.
right? 30, like show me what you can do with a truck on 33s,
Right.
right? Not on 40s, right?
Right.
Um, and I'm not saying don't compete in a 40-inch tire class and an unlimited class and so on, but like show me a car that you drove there,
Right.
right, on the highway, and you took it through the trail and back, right? So I think that's the difference. Because for example, like Overlander's experience is the same thing. Like Overlander's experience with Luis, who's a super legit off-road pilot and event organizer. He's a friend of my uncle's. Um, he started with a lot of guys who were taking their cars there, driving them. But then people were realizing they were breaking stuff because they were going too hard on the cars. So then, yeah, technically the car is a street legal car, but it gets pulled in a trailer. So you break it, you just throw it on the trailer.
Right.
Um, and so it's for example, like if you have something like the Mint or Best in the Desert or the Ultra, like I expect you to have a trailer to pull your car because this is a race truck,
Right.
right? Like you're that at King of the Hammers, it's a race truck, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
But the
those are
grassroots
purpose
events,
built vehicles. Yeah.
yeah, no, there's big budget, and like Ford is driving trucks at
Right.
the King of the Hammers, right?
Right.
Um, so I expect that to be a battle of pockets, but a grassroots event should be, mechanical skill and driving skill.
Right.
Um, Not, can I put the biggest tires on the car
That's
and,
kind
and
of
set up
like
the axles for it?
I know you hit me up about the Florida Trail Challenge or the Team Challenge.
Yeah,
That kind of seems like something that kind of fits into that category more than, more of a
yeah.
grassroots.
So yeah, back and the guy who organizes that event, he's at Save all the time. He knows John and those guys. I think it's his I think it's his sister or maybe his sister-in-law that works at a Toyota dealership in Central Florida. Anyway, he's really nice. Um, he is trying to copy something that used to happen. I was too small to participate. I was a little kid when they did it, but there was this thing called off-road safaris
Gotcha.
in Florida, and they would be like driving, shooting, kayaking, orienteering, a bunch of nerd stuff, and off-road driving.
Right.
And those, like, I think those events simulate like the Camel Trophy very strongly.
Right.
And again, then you have to become a well-rounded like adventurer, right, to do those types of events.
Right.
Um, he doesn't do tire restrictions. I just don't think he has the pool, like the number of vehicles to do subcategories. Um, but I wonder, you know, if he were to say, "Hey guys, we're going to do a small tire category and then a big tire category and an unlimited," if that would encourage more people with uh, vehicles that are closer to stock
Right.
to participate, right? And so the Appalachia, I don't know how to say it. The 24 hours that like they require you to drive your vehicle in and drive your vehicle out. That's part of
Right.
registration is that you can't bring your car on a trailer.
Right.
Um, and you see the guys participating in that. Like I know the dude with the red Frontier from West Virginia that's on YouTube. He won one of the events, and like his truck, yeah, his truck's on 35s, and it's got time swap and blah blah blah. But like that truck does 70 on the highway, no problem.
Right.
So like that to me is much more interesting than an event where like a bunch of guys are going to show up with gladiators on 40s and ones and missiles. It's
Right.
like, yeah, I know that truck can climb stuff. I know that. Like you don't need to show me. It's like if you're jacked, you won. You don't need to go to the gym anymore. You
Right.
won. I mean, congratulations. So anyway, I think that there's a lot of potential for people to uh, recreate in a competitive environment that's safe and it's sustainable. But it's the tire inflation, right? It's
Right.
the tire size inflation that I think because then becomes an arms race, right? Like, well, this guy has 40s on his Gladiator, which means I need at least 37s, and then and then so on and so forth. When the reality is, you see videos from guys in like old VHS videos that guys have uploaded to YouTube. Guys were doing the Rubicon Trail on stock CJ5s,
Right.
right? So
Yeah, making it
it's
no
it's
problem.
again right, exactly. And sure, you got to stack rocks and it takes forever and whatever, but like that's again like the main component of adventure should be adventure, right? It shouldn't be like let me get into credit card debt to put these giant tires on my truck so that I don't even have to try,
Right.
right? To me, at least that's not adventure.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
There's a guy with a crotch rocket outside of my house. Um, all right. I think that's enough material. Would
Yeah,
you
we're a
wanna
little bit
you
over
wanna
an
run it through
hour
like
right now.
total?
Plus another 45 minutes from that first recording.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I think over time, as we get more reps in, we'll probably be able to tighten things down.
Yeah.
Maybe like a timer or something. Like
Yeah.
we can have like a timer running in the back somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, I think we have a lot of good stuff that we can clip and make like 30 to 60-second things for.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have is there some sort of like app or AI that does that? That kind of because I know there's things that like you can feed it the video and it'll say like, hey, these interactions seem
I've
like the
seen
most
it
useful
before.
or
I
something.
haven't personally messed with it all that
Hmm.
much. I'll just scrub through the footage and pull out some
Okay.
clips. Yeah. But I'll
Okay.
mess around with the AI stuff. I'll see what it comes up with.
Yeah. So what do you want to do in regards to putting this stuff up?